Good morning. Today, we delve into a story involving actor Jeremy Renner, facing serious allegations of sexual harassment and threats. This situation highlights the complexities behind Hollywood's glamour, touching on power dynamics and consent. The allegations, made by filmmaker Yi Zhou, have sparked global attention. Renner, known for his blockbuster roles, has denied these claims through his legal team. Our aim is to present the facts from both sides, acknowledging these are allegations and denials. This story underscores the importance of due process and listening to all perspectives. We will explore the timeline and context of this public dispute. Let's take a closer look at the serious allegations brought forward by filmmaker Yi Zhou, whose claims have sent shockwaves through both the entertainment industry and the wider public. These allegations, which surfaced in late 2025, have sparked intense debate and scrutiny, raising important questions about power, consent, and accountability in high-profile circles. Yi Zhou, an accomplished filmmaker known for her thought-provoking work, has stepped into the spotlight not for her art, but for the disturbing experiences she says she endured. Her decision to speak out has been both courageous and controversial, as she details a series of troubling interactions with actor JeremyRenner. According to Zhou, the ordeal began in November 2025, when she publicly accused Renner of sexual harassment. She alleges that Renner sent her unsolicited, explicit images, photos she neither requested nor consented to receive. The timing and nature of these messages, Zhou claims, left her feeling shocked and violated. Zhou asserts that these explicit images were sent through WhatsApp and other social media platforms, a digital act often referred to as cyber flashing. This form of harassment, which exploits the privacy and immediacy of messaging apps, has become an increasingly common concern in the digital age, making Zhou's allegations especially relevant today. But the allegations do not stop there. Zhou further claims that Renner threatened to report her to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, in an apparent attempt to intimidate her by exploiting her immigration status. This alleged threat, if true, would represent a grave abuse of power, leveraging her vulnerability as a non-citizen to silence or control her. The picture that emerges from Zhou's account is one of manipulation and coercion, where power dynamics are weaponized to create fear and compliance. Such allegations highlight the broader issue of how individuals in positions of influence can misuse their authority, especially in industries where reputation and connections are everything. Zhou also describes feeling deeply deceived by what she believed was a genuine romantic connection. She says that Renner's initial charm and apparent interest masked ulterior motives, leaving her feeling betrayed and emotionally manipulated. Perhaps most disturbing are Zhou's allegations of sexual assault. She claims that during their very first in-person meeting, Renner forced himself on her, escalating the situation from harassment to physical violation. This accusation, if substantiated, would mark a significant escalation in the severity of the alleged misconduct. Zhou recounts a harrowing incident at Renner's home, where she says she felt so threatened that she locked herself in a room to protect herself. The fear and isolation she describes paint a vivid picture of the emotional toll such encounters can take on survivors. To support her claims, Zhou states that she has preserved evidence, including digital metadata from messages and images, as well as other documentation. She believes this evidence will corroborate her account and provide a factual basis for her allegations. Taken together, Zhou's narrative suggests a persistent pattern of unwanted advances, intimidation, and emotional distress. Her story is not just about isolated incidents, but about a broader climate of fear and manipulation that she says she endured over time. If these allegations are proven true, they reveal a deeply troubling dynamic, one that raises urgent questions about justice, accountability, and the protection of vulnerable individuals in powerful industries. As the story continues to unfold, Zhou's claims have added a serious and sobering dimension to the ongoing conversation about abuse, power, and the urgent need for change in the entertainment world and beyond. Jeremy Renner has come forward with a resolute and unequivocal denial of the recent allegations made against him. Appearing before the press, Renner maintained a calm but firm demeanor, directly addressing the claims and insisting on his innocence. He emphasized that the accusations are not only baseless, but also deeply damaging to his personal and professional reputation. Renner's statement was clear. He categorically rejects all allegations and is prepared to defend himself vigorously. Supporting Renner is his formidable legal team, led by the renowned attorney Marty Singer, who is well known for representing high-profile clients in Hollywood. Singer and his team have publicly condemned the allegations, describing them as not only false, but also maliciously intended to harm Renner's standing in the industry. They argue that the claims lack any credible evidence and are designed to generate negative publicity. In response, Renner's attorneys have taken swift legal action by sending a cease and desist letter to Zhou, the accuser. This formal document warns Zhou to immediately stop making what they describe as defamatory statements, or face the possibility of a lawsuit. The letter outlines the legal consequences of continuing to spread what Renner's team calls knowingly false information. Renner's legal representatives have gone further, painting Zhou as the instigator in this situation. According to their narrative, Zhou allegedly pursued a romantic relationship with Renner, which he did not reciprocate. They claim that her subsequent public accusations are a form of retaliation after Renner rejected her advances. The legal team asserts that Zhou's actions are motivated by personal disappointment and a desire for revenge, rather than any legitimate grievance. They argue that her public statements are calculated to inflict maximum damage on Renner's reputation, especially given his high-profile status. To support their version of events, Renner's side has presented a detailed timeline of interactions between the two parties. This timeline, they claim, demonstrates that Zhou's feelings were not reciprocated and that her narrative only shifted after Renner made it clear he was not interested in a romantic relationship. By presenting this alternative account, Renner's team is attempting to flip the story entirely. Instead of Renner being the accused, they position him as the true victim, someone targeted by false and damaging accusations, facing a media storm that threatens his career and reputation. The legal threats and public statements are part of a broader strategy to protect Renner's image and push back against what his team sees as a coordinated attack. They are determined to clear his name and restore his standing in the public eye. With both sides digging in, Renner's firm denial and the aggressive legal response have set the stage for what could become a high-profile and contentious legal battle, watched closely by both the media and the public. Let's explore the timeline of events. Zhou alleges Renner began sending explicit images in June 2025. Their first in-person meeting was on July 12, 2025, in Reno, Nevada. Zhou claims a non-consensual encounter occurred, while Renner's team describes it as consensual. A second meeting in August suggests their interactions continued. Renner's team cites an October 24 message from Zhou as evidence of unreciprocated feelings. In November, Zhou's allegations went public, prompting Renner's legal response. This timeline highlights the complexity of their interactions. The dispute has now become a public battle. The unfolding events have captured widespread attention. The conflict at the heart of this case begins with a single meeting in Reno, Nevada, a city known for its bright lights and bustling casinos, but now the backdrop for a much darker story. What happened during that first encounter has become the focal point of a heated legal and personal battle, with each side presenting a dramatically different version of events. Zhou alleges that what took place was not just a misunderstanding, but a deeply traumatic event. She claims that Renner forced himself on her, leaving her feeling violated and powerless. According to Zhou, the experience left lasting emotional scars, and she has struggled to come to terms with what she says happened that night. She further describes feeling manipulated into a relationship under false pretenses, suggesting that Renner misrepresented his intentions and took advantage of her trust. For Zhou, the aftermath has been filled with confusion, pain, and a sense of betrayal that continues to haunt her. On the other side, Renner's legal team presents a starkly different narrative. They insist that the encounter was entirely consensual and that both parties willingly participated. According to them, there was no coercion, no manipulation, just two adults making a mutual decision. Renner's representatives go further, suggesting that Zhou's allegations only surfaced after he ended the romantic involvement. They argue that her claims are retaliatory, motivated by hurt feelings and rejection, rather than by any wrongdoing on Renner's part. The contrast between these two stories, one of force and trauma, the other of mutual consent, forms the crux of the dispute. Each side is adamant, and the gap between their accounts seems almost impossible to bridge. With no witnesses present during the alleged incident, the case becomes a matter of one person's word against another's. There are no recordings, no third-party confirmations, just conflicting memories and interpretations. This fundamental disagreement complicates the search for truth. Investigators and legal teams are left to sift through statements, text messages, and circumstantial evidence, trying to piece together a coherent narrative from fragments and contradictions. The differing accounts highlight just how challenging it can be to determine what truly happened in cases like this. Friends, colleagues, and even the media are left to speculate, often drawing their own conclusions based on incomplete information. The lack of clarity and the absence of definitive proof make this a particularly difficult case for everyone involved. The justice system must weigh the evidence carefully, knowing that the stakes are incredibly high for both parties. In the end, the truth remains elusive, shrouded in uncertainty and conflicting perspectives. As the case unfolds, the search for answers continues, with no easy resolution in sight. Before the fallout, Renner and Zhou were collaborators. They worked on projects like a Disney documentary and an animated film. Zhou claims their professional relationship was intertwined with a personal one. She alleges Renner promised a romantic relationship to maintain collaboration. Renner's team argues Zhou sought to leverage his fame for her career. This entanglement blurs professional and personal lines. The dispute raises questions about the nature of their interactions. The truth may lie in their private communications. Both sides claim to have evidence. Zhou asserts she has metadata to support her allegations. This digital evidence could corroborate her timeline. Renner's team counters with legal threats, aiming to silence Zhou. The cease and desist letter warns of defamation consequences. This standoff suggests a potential courtroom battle. Zhou's claim of evidence versus Renner's legal threats define the conflict. The situation is unlikely to fade away quietly. The dispute may escalate into a legal showdown. The battle lines are clearly drawn. Allegations against public figures often prompt scrutiny of their past. Renner's previous controversies, like his 2019 divorce, have resurfaced. His ex-wife made serious claims, which Renner denied. These past accusations add context but don't prove current claims. Each allegation must be evaluated on its own merits. Renner faces the challenge of past headlines influencing public opinion. His defenders argue he's unfairly targeted, while others see a pattern. This broader context complicates the current situation. The full picture remains complex and unclear. The story of Yi Zhou and JeremyRenner is complex with conflicting narratives. Zhou alleges harassment and assault, while Renner denies all claims. Both sides are building their cases in public opinion. The truth remains elusive, requiring patience for more information. This could lead to a court battle or private settlement. The situation has impacted both their reputations. The outcome will have long-lasting consequences. As of now, the facts are still being gathered. We await more evidence to emerge through investigation or legal process. The story continues to unfold, demanding careful attention.